A sheriff leading a grieving department makes a simple and honest request. The fallen deputy's family saw our community out there that night, and it meant a great deal to them. The deputy wasn't rushed to the closest hospital. He went to the place best ready to handle the worst. It's based on a formula that would guide care for all of us. A distracted driving law fails at the state legislature. Surely nobody is pro-distracted driving. So what happened? And a next viewer questions if female sports reporters are crossing a line in locker rooms. He shouldn't have crossed our Seeley Godwin. Next. The Adams County Sheriff stepped before the microphones today and made an honest request to just give him the weekend, because his officers are preparing for 3 funerals of retired members of their team before they can bury their brother, Deputy Heath Gumm. Sheriff Michael McIntosh asked for time and patience.
I also have to be upfront and honest with you. We are also, in the light of dealing with Deputy Gumm's death, we have lost 3 other retired employees of the Sheriff's Office, all of which are having funerals. The Adams County Sheriff's Office right now is grieving. We are hurting. We're doing an investigation. We're running hard. We're trying to make sure that we're covering all of the appropriate information that we need to cover. We need some time this weekend to make sure that we're connecting all of the dots to everything that is going on.
We have been told that the Gumm family has a history of service, and you can hear that in the statement they released today. Rather than just take a sentence of it, we would like you to hear every word. It is a letter to you, the community, and to Deputy Gumm's fellow officers. Our family would like to express our sincere gratitude for the incredible support and empathy expressed during this difficult time. We have truly been amazed by the generous nature of the community. Our hearts are warmed by the display of compassion from complete strangers who stood and continue to stand alongside our family. As we passed behind the tinted windows of a brightly lit motorcade, your heartfelt wishes for our husband, son, and brother has given his life a beautiful purpose. We have no words that appropriately say thank you for the donations sent and offers to help to our extended law enforcement family as they continue to watch over our family and community. We would also like to express our gratitude for all law enforcement officers who serve by Heath's side and all those who now work to honor his life and service. This family support means more to us than we will ever be able to effectively describe. Please stay safe as you continue to watch over those you made a commitment to serve. You are all deeply appreciated. Finally, we respectfully ask for your continued assistance respecting our privacy as we move through this time of healing and much-needed rest. Deputy Gumm's service will always be associated with his sacrifice, but it was in the little moments where he also made a difference in our community. Like for one man who was apprehensive about dealing with police until the day he met a wisecracking deputy by the side of the road.
After I just drove back from Clearwater, Florida, and I was driving down 72nd Pecos when the left wheel of my U-Haul sheared right off and flew through traffic and hit someone's fence. My first reaction was, I'm probably going to be in trouble for this, because my wheel of the U-Haul just hit someone's fence. I'm in the middle of traffic. But immediately the first impression that I had with both Deputy Gumm and Sergeant Hannah was amazing. They made the situation easy, comfortable. It was a terrible situation because I just moved here from Florida and drove 1,800 miles. And I'm tired, and he's making the entire situation so easy that it just makes me, it changes the way that I view police officers.
An Adams County deputy reportedly shot in the area of 88th and Dawson. There's a large perimeter.
So I first heard from my mom, since I don't watch or listen to much media or news, and she told me what happened, and the first thing I thought was, you know, it's a huge devastation to the community, for his wife, friends and family. And it's extremely sad because he changed my outlook on, law enforcement and really just being a better person, because the fact that he didn't have to do what he did when that happened to me, it just goes to show what kind of person he is. And if he did that for me, I can't imagine what he's like with people that he knows and cares about, and now they don't have that in their life. And it makes me cherish the people I do have in my life. It makes me want to become a better person.
We're certain there are more Coloradans who had memorable interactions with Deputy Gumm as he served our community, and we'd like to share them here. Our email is next@9news.com. The suspect accused of killing Deputy Gumm came to court for the first time today. Well, first time in this case. Dreon Deering's been in and out of the correctional system before. The judge allowed our camera inside to hear him explain the first-degree murder of a police officer charge, so long as we did not show the suspect's face. We haven't been airing his mugshot here because investigators are still using it in lineups with witnesses. Several Next viewers have asked a fair question. Why paramedics rush Deputy Gumm down to Denver Health rather than taking him to a closer hospital? DH is about 20 minutes from the scene if you're driving the speed limit. North Suburban's just 5. Steve Stager explains how the rules that sent the deputy to a level 1 trauma center would also apply if any of us were in that ambulance.
Level 1 and Level 2 trauma centers are actually pretty much the same. They both need two distinct things:
immediate surgical capability and sufficient blood supply to support that patient until the bleeding can be stopped and the patient can be stabilized.
That's Randy Kirkendall. He runs the facilities division of the state's public health department. His division designates levels of trauma centers. He says the only real difference between a 1 and a 2 is Level 1 hospitals do more training and research, but they both have surgeons ready at all times and a blood bank capable of helping patients survive. We have 3 Level 1 trauma centers in Colorado, and all of them are in the metro area: Denver Health, St. Anthony's in Lakewood, and Swedish Medical Center in Inglewood. There are 5 Level 2 medical centers in the metro area: Littleton Adventist, Medical Center of Aurora, Parker Adventist, Sky Ridge Medical Center, and the University of Colorado Hospital. So what determines where you're taken if you need help? State law requires first responders to develop protocol for that.
If these certain conditions exist, then the patient needs to go to this level of trauma center.
Under our local protocol, the most severe injuries go to the nearest Level 1 or Level 2 trauma center. In the case of Deputy Gumm, his injuries necessitated the nearest Level 1 or Level 2 center, and Denver Health was the closest. For Next, I'm Steve Stager.
The state does not regulate how many high-level trauma centers we have, even as our population grows. State health leaders told us today the market will lead to hospitals being built where they're needed. We've spent a lot of time here lately talking about the good ones. The public servants take a lot of criticism but are not always recognized for what they do behind the scenes. For the longest time here on Next, we've been telling you they are the good ones, and they're almost all good ones. Put 2 more Adams County deputies on that long list. The officers who came to help Michael Capon, who stood yesterday for 6 hours holding an American flag near the area where Deputy Gumm was killed. While Michael was out paying his respects, someone stole the bike that has made him a familiar sight around Thornton. Today, deputies surprised him with a brand new 18-speed Huffy.
I definitely have to thank the Adams County Sheriff's Department for giving me a new bike. I appreciate what you guys do in the line of duty.
Capon's known around Thornton as that guy on the bike. In fact, that is exactly what it says on the Adopt a Street sign for the stretch that Capon meticulously keeps clean. A few days after Mayor Hancock turned down an invitation to go to the White House, he was elected president of the National Conference of Democratic Mayors. I hope this does not come as a shock to anyone, since Denver has nonpartisan city elections, but Mayor Hancock is a proud Democrat, and now he is front and center as big city mayors do battle with President Trump. It is a fight that both clearly relish. Speaking of food, grab a snack. Next is back with why state legislators decided not to crack down on distracted driving. We will never know how the Supreme Court would have ruled on a landmark education case out of Colorado. The long-simmering dispute over school vouchers down in Douglas County is now officially dead. The vouchers were the idea of politically conservative school reformers who swept to power and then got swept out by candidates backed by teachers' unions. The case currently before the Colorado Supreme Court, likely headed for the U.S. Supreme Court, has now been tossed out because the board majority elected last year no longer wants to pursue vouchers or that court fight. Is there some kind of pro-distracted driving lobby at the state legislature? Because year after year, bills to crack down keep getting watered down or voted down. Marshall, take the wheel.
Kyle, year after year, that all happens, and we wonder, what is it about distracted driving that makes it so, I don't know, political, Democratic, Republican? Why can't I just text a "Hi, Kyle" and be good with that? We're asking that question as a bill yet again fails at the Capitol. When you're out on the roads, how well do you trust the driver next to you?
Now, she was doing it right. She had the earphones on.
Democratic State Senator Lois Court feels drivers need help being more safe.
I was just watching people going by to see how many had cell phones in their hands, and I think I saw about a half a dozen.
She wanted to make it required that adults be hands-free, but that bill failed at the legislature this week. Right now, teens can't use their phones at all while driving. Adults aren't supposed to text, but an average of 257 adults get ticketed for that each year. This debate is nothing new. Using your phone in driving has been around, well, since people use flip phones, whatever this thing is. And wait a minute, no one had a BlackBerry. Last year, lawmakers increased the fine for adults texting and driving to $300 and 4 points off your license. But you can only be cited if you're seen texting and driving carelessly.
The bill that we did last year banning texting while driving was incomplete and difficult to enforce.
Republicans in the committee that killed the bill feel current law covers this topic, which already borders on getting too much into our personal business.
The fundamental question is it government's role to police people and decide these decisions for them, or is it people's job to police themselves?
As far as I'm concerned, having your civil liberties infringed upon doesn't matter so much if you're dead.
There was a second bill that is related to the beeping that you're hearing. Lawmakers kept it just a secondary offense if you don't wear your seatbelt. That means you still can't be pulled over just for not wearing the seatbelt. But who likes to hear that sound anyways, Kyle?
The beeping is there for a reason, Marshall. The beeping is there for a reason. All right, thank you for taking the wheel. The most Colorado thing we saw today. Jeep drivers who like to subtly remind people that they drive Jeeps, and you do not. This is at the South Lot up at Breckenridge. Kelly Dunaway spotted these Jeeps living their best Jeep lives and thought it was good enough to share with us, emailing next@9news.com. An ex-viewer makes a controversial argument that female sports reporters in men's locker rooms are no better than sexual predators. I know a female sports reporter who has something to say about that. Next.
Chilly in the 9 backyard as we say goodbye to a fast-moving storm that brought mountain snow today. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. After a windy, cool evening, the weekend mountain snow outlook is pretty impressive with the next weather maker already on the way. Right now at DIA, 30 degrees after a high of 40. That is about 4 degrees shy of the average, and temperatures will be warmer tomorrow. Winds creating blowing snow over some of the higher passes tonight, but all the winter weather and travel advisories have canceled out. With the northwest flow, enough moisture coming in that we may in fact see a few light snow showers in the mountains for those headed up to do, well, what could be some of the best skiing and snowboarding of the season. The snow has been amazing with 6 to 8 inches of snow just in the last 24 hours. Breezy, chilly, and 18 tonight. Tomorrow, partly sunny, less wind, and a high of 48. Temperatures will warm into the low and mid 50s moving into Sunday. Low 60s early next week ahead of the next storm and the next chance for snow. Accumulating snow is possible Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But this night, well, pretty good-looking evening out there. So weekend, here we come.
Kathy, thanks. Our next question is a provocative one. And before you say it's totally out of bounds, just know this is not the first time that our sports department has heard this. Tim writes, why is it all right for women to go into the men's locker room to get interviews when they aren't properly dressed? Until men can go in and do locker room smut interviews, this practice should be viewed as sexual misconduct. Thanks, Kyle. I'm sure you will make mention of this as you seem to hold no punches. Tim, did you just liken female sports reporters in locker rooms to sexual predators? You're right. I hold no punches. But you, sir, just got in the ring with sports reporter Steely Godwin.
Hey, Tim, you're not the only one who thinks that, but you're mistaken. It all starts with consent. Talking to media is a part of their jobs. Now, we're not kicking down the door to the Broncos locker room and shoving our mics in their unsuspecting faces. That's not how it works at all. We have to get permission to come in. The guys know we're coming in. They've been through this a million times before. They can choose to talk to us. They can choose not to talk to us. They can choose to be fully clothed, or they can just choose to wear a towel. That's their choice. I'm not there to creep on them. I'm there to ask questions and make deadline. Male reporters are allowed to go into female locker rooms too. You just don't see it as much because male sports dominate our world. This is a debate that was settled decades ago. A federal judge said that female sports reporters should be allowed to do whatever male sports reporters do. I cringed when he called my work smut interviews. That makes me feel like I'm there as a body, not as a human being. At the end of the day, if there's respect and there's consent, let us do our job.
We good on that now, Tim? I think we're good. I think we're good. We're back next with a viewer who wishes for a bit more fake news around here. And your good news, as always, ends a long week. This Friday, we don't just want to hear your good news. I think we need it. We took our camera to Edgewater.
My good news is we just opened this community center for kids in the neighborhood to come and work on creative projects.
My good news is I just purchased a new home in Denver.
My good news is that I taught my corgi puppy some new tricks. One of them is I go, boo! And he goes, ah! And flips onto his back and freezes. And he'll hold it, and he'll hold it for minutes if I want him to. Good boy.
The kids will be able to build their own robot today. That's pretty exciting.
Another good trick I taught him last night is high five. He's got little corgi short legs, so he's got to give it his all and then pop it right in. Treat. Good boy.
Oh, my good news is I feel incredibly lucky, honestly. We're getting an opportunity to help encourage kids who have not had the ability to access certain levels of technology outside of a very structured setup.
We found out our rooftop plans are approved, and starting this spring, Joyride's going to be breaking ground to build a rooftop, a 100-person rooftop, overlooking the great Sloan's Lake in downtown Denver. This is a great place to live, work, and raise a family.
Beautiful sights. I love that corgi thing. On YouTube, an anonymous commenter says, Kyle must have high connections to be a horrible person and still have this job. That is a great reminder that we have a YouTube channel that you should check out. And Linda Pendleton writes in to say, love the show, but when, in the interest of being well-rounded, are you going to get some of that fake news stuff? Linda, news should be well-rounded, but when it comes to our stories, to quote Terry Hatcher's character on Seinfeld, they're real and they're spectacular. See you next time.